session?
No.
Then, but that was my question. No, I will come to you. I will come to you. But you have to wait. But you have to have patience. The second thing needed to really learn is patience. I'm sorry. Patience is necessary. I will keep saying this. So that you all keep looking at me with patience. That's the only way you cultivate patience. Okay? Can you always close your eyes? Put your hands down. Close your eyes. Sit in a posture. Do not move. Just close your eyes. Your eyes are not closed. It is very difficult to keep your eyes closed. I know that. 3 of you are fidgeting. Close your eyes. You cannot move. Can you stay still? Can you at least stay quiet so that the others can stay still? Stay like that. Just notice your breath. Notice the way you breathe. Do not talk. Very difficult thing to do. So if you are doing it well, for yourself be happy. If you are doing well, give a smile to yourself. Smile for yourself. I know there are a lot of friends around, but you are your best friend. Be proud of who you are. If I ask you to open your eyes, would you be able to maintain a little bit of discipline and decorum? Can you nod your heads and tell me if that is okay? Please open your eyes. And just be calm and relaxed. Extremely important workshop. I'm not reading out of anywhere, but this is on diversity and inclusion. And Shweta ma'am, who is going to take this workshop, is here. I would just like to tell you a little bit about Shweta ma'am. She believes in creation of a society that embraces diversity and promotes acceptance. As a social entrepreneur and professional in the field of social work, she has dedicated over 20 years to advocating for the rights of individuals with disabilities and promoting mental health. She has a PhD in social work, and her work was focused on resilience. She has expertise and passion to drive positive changes in the society. I hope I did justice to introducing you, ma'am. We welcome you here.
I promise there are 2 more activities, once we are through with this.
Alright. Now, if these leaves were hearing you and if they heard you, what would they be thinking about themselves and you right now?
Mom.
Okay, can I give to somebody who's not focused? Alright, I'll go here. Yes.
I don't think that you are me, but if you make
Can you pass on the mic there and then it will come to me? You want to say something?
Hey, did you hear that?
So, if the leaves were to be hearing us right now, then they might feel that, of course, that we're very rude, and that might hurt their personal sentiments, which can affect one's mental health as well.
Right. So, before anybody speaks, my next question. So, if that is how leaves are feeling, because of your conversation, they heard you. It was triggered by my question. So it's not that you were actively going to say all these things, but because I asked you a question, you had to answer, and therefore leaves had to hear all this. But in this scenario, now if leaves felt that, oh, these guys don't like us, and I need to become a better version of myself, will these leaves be able to change themselves into what you like?
Mom, they were living. No.
No? Why?
No.
Mom.
Why?
Because it's in the human nature that people want to adapt to other people's likings, but it is very, negative to change one's personality for someone who does not pay heed to you.
Okay, so when we like or dislike somebody on the basis of those characteristics that they can't change, is it fair? No. So obviously not. But we all tend to do that. Okay. So the point here is to just remind ourselves that I may not like XYZ because of ABC reasons, but there may be things that this person cannot control and cannot change. So can I learn to also accept them as they are? And while I say this very easily, it's not necessary that it will happen very naturally and easily. Okay? But the point is to remind ourselves. And same happens to people in our stories. Okay? Sometimes we want to evolve. We want people to evolve in our stories in a particular direction. Okay? But we need to also remember that it's also okay for them to have certain aspects which are not necessarily liked by everybody. Because that's also part of them. Why should we take away everything from people, from their characters, from their stories, that we think somebody will not like? Because every human being is going to be like that. Alright? So that's point one. Now going to point two, we have water. We have fresh water, which is drinking water. I want, do we have straw?
Ma'am, yeah.
Okay. Can you decide which three people can come in?
Can I? Ma'am, please can I?
I'm leaving the decision.
Ma'am, please can I?
काट रहे हैं क्या?
Ma'am, me, she
वीडियो काट रहे हैं क्या?
इसका
इधर से उधर आने में और अभी भी टाइम चेंज नहीं वीडियो काटना नहीं है तो बोल दो तो समझा
Come in. So whoever is being selected, please come here.
Thank you.
वीडियो मत काटो
It wasn't our decision, it all came from this group.
I'm so sorry, I can choose one.
Yeah, please choose.
Ma'am,
Okay,
can
people
you
who've been selected, please come.
Me.
I want we have 4 volunteers. I want the 4, and I want the observers to observe.
Sorry
Like observe, like watch, see what's happening here. Okay. Decide how you want to drink water. The activity is about drinking water. When I say 1, 2, 3, go, you need to select that in what thing are you going to drink water, how will you drink it, and how much will you drink it. You should take all those decisions, and then there will be a small 1 minute time for you to drink water. Everybody here, please observe. How are you going to do it? And please, after this, when I ask you the differences and similarities, you have to tell me. Alright?
Excuse me.
Container, you choose how you want to drink it. You have containers, you have straws, you have water. You choose how you want to drink it, you choose how much you want to drink it. Right? It's all your choice.
And how you want my voice?
Yes, entirely your choice. 3, 2, 1, go. Done. Of course, we'll share the water.
Easily जब हो जाएगा भाई. जॉब कर ले. Come on, भाई. Enjoy, man. Jog it.
Okay, observers only need to observe how are they drinking water.
Come on, side.
Nobody is winning this race here. There is no race. You complete it?
I want it. I can.
Okay. Alright. So just keep your water.
She can not.
Please keep your things with you. Please hold that so that we already continue. Okay. So the group, please tell me what were the similarities in the way they drank water and what are the differences in the way they drank water. Okay.
Both of them drank through a glass and both of them drank through a straw. And
Leave something.
रुक बस हो गया.
हाँ को भी कुछ बोलना.
all of them ultimately drank water but through different means.
Right.
the winner here, though it's not a race, but still Katha drank it first. But what I observed was that, first of all, her presence of mind. All of them tried to grab the glass first and they tried to do it. But after that, what was best in her was that she helped someone else. She helped Sahina Di, right? And first of all, she filled her own glass, but then she rapidly gave it to her, and I think that thing made her win.
Each of them decided to pick up something or the other. Now I want to hear from you. What made you choose this and what made you choose this?
I wanted to just make sure I didn't get the ball, so I just grabbed the mark at the first start and I just did a start accident.
But for somebody else it could be different. What we need to remember is exactly this, that people's bodies and the way they use their bodies is different. And they also learn to use their bodies differently, and there is nothing wrong about that, and there is nothing to be made fun of. Because it's very easily possible for people to make fun of each other on the basis of these differences. Because we forget that there is another layer of how they are going to use their bodies. So for example, she is Ginny. Okay, so like you have stories in your character. Ginny is the lead character on Ginny's Time. stories. Now, Guinea is born with a condition called radial club hand. You can Google that later. But for Guinea, that means that once she has a right arm which is shorter than the left. Is there anybody in this room that has right arm shorter than the left?
Ma'am, isn't that natural? One hand is shorter than the other.
No.
One leg is shorter than the other.
No.
So, when I say it's natural, the answer to that, is it natural? The answer is yes. But, do most people have arms like that? The answer is no. Okay. So what happens is that when you, can you all like stretch your hand and see if they are equal?
Yes.
Oh no. They are equal. Very true. But when Guinea stretches her arms like this, she sees that these are not equal. And Guinea at a particular age was also waiting to see when will my other arm grow and become equal to the other. Okay? But what Guinea forgot at that point in time was that she was born like this. And this will not change necessarily even if she wants to change that. Guinea also has total 9 fingers in her hands. So the right.
Ma'am, she's actually better. Most of us only have 8 fingers.
Including thumb. Sorry.
Thumb is not a finger, ma'am.
But I'm counting thumb as well because it's a very, very important part of the hand to be able to pick up things, to grasp things.
Even to write.
To write, to read. So we all need fingers, thumbs in a particular manner to be able to use them. Now Guinea uses the left hand more than the right. Okay? When she was born right-handed, which means her right hand is dominant and she would try to do everything with the right hand. But the right hand for her was not working out the way she thought it would work out. So she trained herself to use her left hand and now she's a lefty. Okay? Some people are not like Guinea, they are born deaf. So they have left hand which is dominant. So there's nothing right or wrong about having, you have left hand dominant. Okay? Welcome to the club, Guinea's club. Alright. So these are differences that are there in our bodies.
Ma'am?
Yeah.
Wasn't a Guinea a character in Harry Potter?
Yes, of course, but it's not that
But it's a different Guinea. And I don't know who Guinea was in Harry Potter.
She was Harry Potter's wife.
She married Harry Potter.
Oh, like they so much later in the series. Okay.
Wanted her right hand to grow and it didn't work out as she wanted it.
Why did she want her right hand to grow as long as the left?
normal as it is.
Because she saw other kids. Till the time she did not see other kids, she was fine. But when she started comparing, just like when you started comparing the leaves, she realized, oh, okay, my friends have arms like these and fingers like these. When will my arm and my finger become like this? Okay. But gradually, as Guinea grew further and there were more conversations, it was not that she didn't want to become like other people, but also she had to.
She wanted to let herself okay.
Yeah, so she had to tell herself that, okay, I am different, being different is okay. But does it mean that she can believe that all the time?
No.
No? Why not?
Because she also wants to be normal and wants to do things like others.
Right? But what is creating so much pressure to be normal?
Ma'am, there are her peers.
Ma'am, her peers.
That's what I said.
Be like that.
What she observes. Okay. So there are 2-3 things I want to say. One is, there is nothing called normal. Because when we use the word normal, we use it for the majority. Right? By that standard, having a right hand dominant is normal. And by left hand dominant is abnormal. But is that how it is supposed to be?
the majority. So if we use
Having
normal
3 legs is abnormal. Many people have 3 legs. My best friend has 2.
I haven't met anybody with 3 legs. But yeah, with 1 leg, yes. Also with fewer fingers, yes. Also with more fingers, yes. So, human beings are very diverse. Just because, that's the last thing I want to say as far as this activity is concerned. Just because you've not met somebody with a particular body structure or a particular behavior, does not mean that they don't exist.
Ma'am, our gardener had 11 fingers.
One of my school friends who was there like 4 years ago, she had 11 fingers.
Right. So, whatever you have seen that exists.
My father had 11. Ma'am, one of my school friends has teeth so far out that he can't close his mouth properly.
So remember these diversities. Please remember these human diversities. Now we are coming to the last part. All of you met Guinea. Now in next 3 minutes, you have to pick the things from what you see in this room. So we have twigs, we have paper, we have Fevicol, sketch pens, and we have cloth.
She has one leg.
By today, is there any particular reason she has done that?
Yeah, she went in the army and it got.
So you've already made a grown-up Guinea and you've decided.
Yeah,
Okay.
and she
alright.
stepped on a mine.
Thank you so much. So I'm going to close here. If you want to watch it.
Ma'am.
Ma'am, you have to be dead, right at the back of the middle.
My kitty died. Right.
I'm not asking for answers. Are you thinking for me?
Yes.
Are you thinking for mom? Don't do that thing for yourself. Okay? And on that note, will you give a round of applause to ma'am for being so lovely, so patient, and bringing all her knowledge, all her experience in front of you. Yeah? Did you have fun?
Yes.
Thank you so much, Shweta. It was indeed lovely to have you here with us.
Thank you, everybody.
All over the country have come together here to teach you what they have learned over years of mehnat and hard work and so much of discipline and dedication. And one such expert is here with us today, Shobha ma'am. You have been seeing her since yesterday. She's someone who has helped to curate this festival. She's many things. She's an author. She is a very creative person. But why she is here today is because she's an award-winning voice-over artist. And the way we can use our voice very well are secrets that only she knows. So you've been very nice the whole day. Last 25 minutes, last 30 minutes, let's learn as much as we can. From Shobha ma'am, over to you.
Thank you for that.
My mama has called me at 5 o'clock outside.
I will send everyone outside at 5 o'clock. I promise.
Okay, this is really exciting. Voiceover is very close to my heart. But I'm going to start out by first asking, and I suppose I can hear all of you, so we don't need to give you a mic just yet. Does anybody know what is voiceover work? Okay, we'll start with you and then you.
When you record a piece of film or video and then you speak over the film so you can hear your voice.
You're partly correct. Let me get a couple more responses and then I'll tell you.
Voiceovers is like reading a piece of anything and telling it because it's a more effective way of communicating.
So essentially, you're both correct in some ways. Voiceover is using your voice to tell a story. Okay, now when I say to tell a story, we're not talking about necessarily a piece of narrative in a prose book. To tell a story, you can use your voice to say, for instance, hello, you've reached the Banerjee residence. Would you like to leave a message? Beep. That's a voiceover. That's the voice on your answering machine.
Like Alexa?
Beg your pardon?
Alexa.
Alexa's voice is a robotic voice, but yes, that's a voiceover as well. Though it's not usually a human voice, a lot of these AI tools.
Series is a human voice.
What is?
Series.
Series. Oh, Siri. Yes, I think Siri's maybe. I'm not entirely sure. Is it? It is. Okay, there you are. You guys know that. So, a voiceover can be anything from your voice on an answering machine to a recording when you go on a plane these days. In addition to the flight attendants, don't you sometimes hear a recording about, we have turbulence, please put your seatbelts on? These are voiceovers that were recorded in advance and put on. A voiceover can be the audio books that you hear.
Ma'am, the voiceover can also be like when in the aeroplane they give you instructions like you have to put the air mask like that, you have to do the seatbelt like that.
Yes, nowadays the voiceovers are, even on airplanes, are often pre-recorded. So a voiceover is using your voice, as I said, to tell a story. Now what I mean by that is, I used to work in the development field and I actually did work with people with disabilities. And I used my voice, when I say my voice, it means my words, to bring funding to programs for people with disabilities. Now, I write storybooks in which I use words to bring readers like you to my books. And as a voiceover talent, I use my voice to bring people either to a product, or a project, or a film. So the National Award was for a film. It was about monsoon rains. And it was my voice on a movie that they had made about monsoon rains in South India. Well, sometimes in a voiceover project, like I've done books where one of the characters is singing in the book, then if you have to sing, then that's part of your voiceover narration, yes. And you know these video games you have in which you hear characters saying all kinds of stuff and all that, those are voiceovers as well. So sometimes those are singing voices, those are, you know, screaming, there's different whispering, there's all kinds of accents, all of that is voiceover, yes, yes.
So is recording music a voiceover?
Just the music? The music is not a voiceover.
No, as in with the lyrics. As in, if I were to sing a song, and if
video song, like the song is playing behind it there.
Is that what you mean? Well, if a person is actually doing the singing, then yes, it's a voiceover. Yes, honey? So when you do different characters, you have to do different voices, yeah, very often. So I do sometimes. I have not, I'll tell you one project I've never done. I've auditioned for a couple and I've made it almost to the last stage. But you know, in America it's very competitive. Our animated video games. So I haven't done them, though as I said, I've auditioned for them, I've done different accents, I've got to that final stage and then someone else has been picked. Because you know, everybody has a particular take on what they want for a voice. But you know, being able to be flexible, so 3 key ingredients. A voiceover artist doesn't necessarily have to have an outstanding voice. So somebody who sings is not necessarily a voiceover talent, okay? A voiceover talent is somebody who can use their voice to deliver a message. Message could be a story, message could be an ad, message could be just your name, message could be anything. And that's still a voiceover talent's job. It could also be somebody who can sing or do different accents or do different sounds, can speak at different octaves, can be screechy, can be whispering. We used to be told when we were children that without a mic, you should be able to project your voice till the end of the hall. So without shouting, you can still be clear, right?
Ma'am, I can do that.
You can do that? Good for
Ma'am,
you.
they did this in our school.
You do this in your school,
Yeah,
see? So using, just as we have to read in order to be able to write, we need to be able to exercise our voices in order to be able to be a voice talent. Now I've worked on many, many different projects, but one of the fun things I love to do is to remember a limerick I learned, not a limerick, a tongue twister I learned when I was a child. And let's see if any of you know it, and then maybe you can do it too. Does anybody know Betty Botter?
Yeah.
Good. Shall I tell you my version?
Yes.
Okay, I'll tell you my version first and then you can tell me yours. Betty Botter bought a bit of butter. The butter Betty Botter bought was bitter. So Betty Botter bought a bit of better butter to make the bitter butter. Betty Botter bought better. Is that what yours is?
No. Betty got a bitter butter was so bitter, so she got another bitter to make a bitter butter.
Okay, now the problem with that, though I'm highly impressed that you can do it with that speed, is that I couldn't understand anything you said.
Betty got a bitter butter, but the butter was too bitter, so she got another butter to get the bitter butter better.
Okay, now see, that was clear. So just speed isn't all we need. The whole purpose is that everybody understands what you're saying, right?
Betty bought a bit of butter, but the butter Betty bought was bitter, so Betty bought some more butter to make the bitter butter better. Can I try?
Except, do you know what alliteration means?
Alliteration means
The consonants of the
Starting with the same letters. So in your versions that you've learned in recent years, you've made it a little easier for yourself because I'm hearing words like more and I'm hearing words that don't start with B as much.
Ma'am, I made my own version of it. Betty bought a bit of, I'll say it slowly because I can't say it fast at all. Betty bought a bit of bitter butter to make batter, but batter was bitter. So Betty bought a bit of better butter to make the bitter butter better, to make the butter better.
Good for you, I love that. So see, now these are nice vocal exercises, right? And this one I honestly learned when I was probably his age. And I still remember it. Yes?
I made a slightly different version
Okay.
using adjectives. So bright Betty Botter
bought a bit of bitter butter, but the butter beautiful Betty bought was bitter, so Betty bought a bit more of better butter.
To make the bitter butter better.
Butter.
Yay! Having a very good time at the festival?
Yes.
Have you had a chance to talk to other children from all over the country?
Shobha ma'am, could you please get Shweta?
How am I going to get you? I don't know when I'll see you again. He's not in town.
She will die if she doesn't ask a question.
Please tell me what your question is.
My voice not noticeable.
Why is your voice not noticeable? So your voice is noticeable, I just noticed it. But what you need to do is make sure that you project. So
How does like everyone's voice has such impact?
2-3 minutes, 2-3 minutes more.
that's not true. It will have impact. First of all, words have impact. If you believe, you may have a soft voice, you can exercise it. You've heard of Demosthenes, haven't you? So there was a man who couldn't speak properly, and one of these exercises for stutterers, they put stones in their mouth and practice speaking. So, I mean, I'm not suggesting you need to do that, but you can certainly practice by standing in your own room, try to project your voice, do those voice exercises I told you about, do the lime, do the lemon, do the A-E-I-O-U's, exercise, stress it, and then do it. Don't shout though, we don't need to shout to be heard. We can speak softly and clearly, and it will be more impactful. But sweetheart, I could understand everything you said, so don't worry.
Yes. Ma'am, you said you use stone in your mouth?
Yeah, there's a story about it, and I've forgotten the details, maybe about some of the other adults too. But there was an exercise in which he put the stones in his mouth and started talking without swallowing the stone to practice, how to enunciate with difficulty.
Isn't that extremely dangerous and like
Only if you swallow the stone, yes.
Yeah, but you should probably practice with sweets first.
Ma'am, how big would the stone be? Then
Probably
you would
very
use them
small.
before you even started.
With the right group of kids, you can get into a lot of
No, I didn't want
trouble.
it.
If you say stories, you don't know what you're talking about. Okay, what was your question?
Why you inspired to do
Do you want to?
Why do you do it?
Why do I? Well, as I told you, I loved using my voice in various projects. I used to read in school. There were some teachers who wanted to take an afternoon break, and I shouldn't say that to any teachers here, but very often I had an economics teacher, Mrs. Prabhu, poor lady, I don't know where she is now, but she would make me read the entire chapter aloud to the class. And so I got in the habit of doing a lot of read-alouds. And in my days in school, we learnt a lot of poetry and said them aloud as well. I loved performing, I liked acting, I liked doing things, I liked playing with it and whispering and increasing the sound of your voice, being deep, being high. So all of that kind of playing with voices, always enjoyed it. And then when my children were growing up, they were both very good with voices, and they were both speech and debate stars. So I coached them, and when they left home, I said, well, I want to put money where my voice is, or where my mouth is, as they say. Time's up though, and that's how I got into the career.
No, this is time now for us to be thrown out of here, but before that,
Let's get thrown out.
let's get thrown out, but do you not want to applaud, ma'am?
Thank you, everyone.
Wonderful day one of the Muskaan Literature Festival. We will see you again tomorrow here, 10 a.m. Don't be late. And we need a picture with ma'am.
Should I remove this sponge?
No, sir.
Who tried the gajar ka halwa? Loved it?
Yes,
How many
sir.
bowls?
I love it.
How many bowls of gajar ka halwa did you eat? Only one? Yeah, it was awesome. So yes, one of my favorite sweet dish is the gajar ka halwa. And yes, I love that. But I wanted to stay away, so I didn't eat much. I'll try to keep my session as fun as it can be. And this is going to be about comics, right? So you all know your comics, right? You all know Tinkle? How many of you are Tinkle fans here? Okay, a quick quiz. A quiz. Well, there will be no prizes at the end of it. Okay.
Sir,
Can you name?
quiz to who love and who know Tinkle?
Yes. So it's going to be a very Tinkle-centric quiz. Very simple questions. No prizes for any answers. But I just want to see how good you all are with Tinkle. Okay. Can you name 2 detectives from Tinkle comics? A couple of kids who claim to be detectives, but they're very, very defective. Who are those guys? Rahul and no. Rahul and Ravi.
Yes.
So Rahul and Ravi. By the way, I have the whole universe of Tinkle right here. So you may not be able to see all the answers on this. Okay, next one. Who is Shikari Shambhu's wife? Yes. Shanti. Very good. Okay, can you name a crow from Tinkle comics? Kalya. Okay, that is simple. One more question. If Tantri is the Mantri, who is the king? So, you can make a book without pictures, but you cannot make a comic book without pictures. If there are no pictures, it's not a comic book, it's a blank book. So kids, when we talk of pictures, what are these pictures called? They are on a page. Yeah. They are on a page and they come in boxes like this. Right? What are these called? Panels. So when we read comics, we put them out in panels. Now, when you read a comic book, you go this way. Come to this panel, come to this, come to this. Next. Suppose this dog is thinking something. Then you draw a cloud or a thought bubble. Simple, right? So this is what the simple things about. So there are a lot of elements which come into comic writing. So when you write, you place your dialogues here. What comes first? Suppose if the dog is thinking first and Raju is saying something later, then this will come on top. You'll change the positions and then yes. Now in a comic book, there's something called special effects. What are special effects?
Boom.
Yeah.
So for example, I started taking comics when I started with Tinkle. So for example, someone is having a fight. There are also Superman comics. So it is punching.
The sound that comes.
Graphic to show that Superman is punching is called.
Comic. Yeah, that's called special effects. Yeah. You have something?
So many times if a character suddenly just runs, there are like those 3 lines behind.
Yes, the speed lines. Right. So in a comic book, we use all of this. Suppose if there's a tree and something is falling from the tree, okay, so you show the speed lines. If it's a small apple, which is fallen on the ground,
In a comic, if a person sleeping, so the
Z.
can that
Right? Exactly. So all of these sound effects that we show. So if it's an apple which is falling, it will say plop. Right? Because the apple is a small fruit. But suppose if it's a jackfruit, what would the sound effect be? Bram. Third. Right? A larger sound. Like I said, there are no rules in drawing a comic book. Rules come in when you're writing, of course, with the grammar and everything. But when you're drawing, it can be circles, it can be triangle, it can be shaped like this, or whatever. It can be like,
Excuse me, sir.
Yes?
Is Amar Katha a comic only?
Yes, Amar Katha is a comic book.
Because there are these boxes.
What happens next? Someone tell me?
It gets published in a...
So once the writer's job is done, once the writer has written the script and the next person who comes in is the artist. So after the artist, you would have the colorist, you would have the designer.
If there is artist, so what is the design?
Yes. I will go step by step. First, we have talked about the writer. The second person is the artist. Now, the artist gets a script, and when I started drawing comics, I used to draw on a paper which was this big, like maybe it's a little bigger than this clipboard. Team, and they would check it, and then after that I used to ink it. Inking means I used to use a black pen and artist, colorist, designer. Drawing is very simple. Drawing is a combination of all the shapes that you see. So you have circle.
Sir, can we draw our own character?
We can draw our own character, but just for everyone else, I will just show how we go step by step into creating one character. Then you can all create your own characters. Circles, squares, triangles, rectangle, ovals. So basically these are the shapes. Straight lines, curved lines. All of you know this, right? So what are we creating? The 5-headed dog. Okay. Now let's visualize this 5-headed dog. What are the shapes that we are going to be using? So let's see.
Triangle.
Triangle?
For the nose, we need a triangle.
For the nose, we need triangle. Okay.
So, circle.
One body and 5 heads, right? Okay. This is going to be very tricky. Like Hydra. Like Tharoor, okay. Oh, this is going to be really weird. Okay, now think about the dog's face. Can you break up the shape?
It's a square.
Right? You have this and you have the ears. Simple. Circle, again, one shape here, one circle and dot. So can we add that here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
So maybe the center one could have 2 noses.
Center one can have 2 noses. Why partial to the center one? Okay.
Sir, because it's in the center, so it looks better.
Okay. Why is this character different? Yeah? Can you tell me? Why?
He's funny.
He's funny. Okay, I'm talking about the physical traits. Yeah.
He has like a big mustache.
He has a big mustache. So, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how do we draw this character. It starts with a circle. Like everything good in life, like a nice laddu. Shikari Shampoo is one big laddu. He loves laddu, by the way. So when we draw Shikari Shampoo, this artist who created this character thought like my forest ranger is not going to be the usual forest ranger. Do that with the eyes, right? So we said no, we cannot do that because we have never shown Shampoo's eyes. But you have his mustache. So when Shampoo is happy, his mustache will go up. When he's sad, it will go down. When he's scared, it will bring it. So all sorts of expressions. Yeah? You did it? Oh wow.
I made a five-headed dog, but it looks more like a cat.
It looks more like a cat. It's again a very popular character from Tinkle. Supandi. Okay, now again during the...
So it's not...
So in a circle, yeah. This is his logo. What can you see in the circle?
Sad.
Hair?
No brain inside. That's all.
No brain inside? Is that what you can see?
Okay.
See a ball.
The 2 lines connect S.
How many S's can you see?
Ah,
2 S's?
1.
This is 1.
Oh.
So this actually took me a lot of time to actually get this one thing right. Where I was trying to actually get Supandi's hair, the strands of hair that he has.
Top of his head.
Yeah. So you have S and S, that is Super Supandi. Okay, yeah.
Except Shambhu and Supandi, is there a character you like? Your favorite character apart from these 2?
My favorite character is Tantri the Mantri. So Tantri is the guy who wants to be the king.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Which is your favorite character from any other comic except for Tinkle?
If I look at the whole comic universe, then I think one comic book character, of course, my favorite is the Black Panther. So throughout the journey of being an artist, I think the main thing is sketching regularly. And after I graduated, I was still sketching on the side. I started working in an ad agency as a writer. Now, how many of you know what's a copywriter in an ad agency? What does a copywriter do? Writes the copy or the text in an ad. So I used to do that, but I still didn't realize that I could draw. So one fine day, I saw an ad in the newspaper which said that they want an artist for Tinkle. And that's how I went to Tinkle Comics office and I showed them the sketches that I had done on the back of my books. And they liked that so much that they asked me to draw for them. Give it your 100%. Okay? How many of you would give in your 100% to whatever you do? Right? You would all do it, right?
It's not it's a little out of topic. Can you please again tell me all these like comment boxes, what do we call them?
Which ones?
All of them. I know.
Okay.
Like the whisper
Oh,
box.
the whisper bubble. I'll come to that briefly. Now, how do we maintain the character's consistency? How do the characters look same again and again? Now, it's a very simple thing where
So my computer.
the computer can't do everything.
Listen also.
So, when we draw, in geometry we have the symmetry. What is the symmetry? The line of symmetry.
Both sides are equal.
Both sides are equal. Now, when I draw a symmetry line, you know the face is symmetrical, right? You have the circles for the eyes, you have the nose here, you have the mouth here, you have the ears. Okay? Now, if this character is looking here, yeah, I will draw it this way. Now, if I want to turn the head, of this character, I draw the symmetry line like this. Now, which side is he going to be looking? This side. The nose, the eyes, and the mouth. So, no matter what, you rotate your character, it's always going to be looking similar. So, we follow the forms in animation. If you guys would be interested in animation, you will know that this entire thing, and this is only about this shape, it can be done with any shape that you use. For example, it could be this shape, and this could be the line. Right? Then you turn it around. Yeah. And we follow the grid. So in animation, when we draw on paper also we follow a grid. We see that everything is symmetrical. So there's a lot of geometry which is applied in drawing. It's simple geometry. It's just about understanding shapes. How would they function? How would they be used in drawing anything like that? Okay? Yes.
I know we have a lot of questions to sir, but can you do one thing for me? Can you all hold out your boards? I want to see what you all have been drawing. Yes. Smartly. Beautiful. I can see some beautiful drawings all around. Thank you. Put your boards down. Give a huge round of applause for sir for being so patient with all of your questions. Kitna hi tali? Sound figure it. Thank you so much. Any last? Yes, no, why don't you? Savio, can you also stand up? Let the others keep sitting. One more.
Thank you.